When I married Joel, I married him because he was going to be a millionaire by 30, and he did not.
Liar.
I know.
So, Joel, how did you end up on staff
At Conduit?
at Conduit?
Honestly, accidentally.
Well, everything happens. Now, this is my buddy Darren Tyler.
Yeah.
He was on the podcast, and I teased him about starting the church backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay, right?
Literally.
Because he
Yes.
goes to Haiti, is so moved by what needed to be done there, comes back, and then starts a church to support his mission work.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Literally.
And anytime I text him, he's in an airport
Yeah,
or
well-
just got back
Yeah.
from an airport.
Uh-huh.
What does he
Always
say? He
traveling.
says, we're a mission with the church department.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Yep.
his.
That's it. Everybody else starts a church and does a mission. He did the mission, then came back to find somebody to pay for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when we moved here, the Lord made it pretty clear. Even this was kind of in the middle of all of the hurt from her being a pastor's kid and still navigating a lot of that season. But it's just abundantly clear that God asked us, me at least, I had to convince her
He did. He did.
to come to Tennessee for some reason. And super long story short, there was a lot of doors that closed where we were at, and God opened one door here. We were doing a ministry called Apartment Life.
Right. Yeah.
And
Okay. Very familiar with that.
the only apartment in the nation was Nashville. And so we're like, let's try it.
Duh.
And so I came here to, like, my thought was, right, I'm going to help my father-in-law start this business. He's transitioning pastor, so I'll kind of help him get off the ground. I went to school for business. I love small business. That's what I was doing in Greenville as well, just on the real estate side of it. And so we did that, had no money, no sales, no accounts, nothing in the pipeline. And we were driving in his truck and just praying, asking the Lord to provide. And we stumble across Darren power washing his driveway. So my father-in-law hops out, starts this conversation, comes back. I'm like, he's already doing it. Like, why are we stopping? Like, we need to find a job.
That's right. Yeah.
He's doing it himself. And so my father-in-law comes back. He's like, hey, he's a pastor. We're doing this one for free. And I said, absolutely not. I have $12 in my bank account.
Yeah. This makes no business sense here, right? Yeah.
He's texting me.
Yeah, I'm
He's
angry.
like,
Man
"Your
has
dad."
lost his mind.
And the reality was my father-in-law wasn't going to do the work. I was, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We did it. We did it for free. And so in that season, him being on sabbatical, he's like, we're going to go check out this church. So we did. And we didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like, so when we rolled into Conduit, it was a church of 300-ish.
Yeah.
And there was no one our age. We were 21, 22 at the time. And it was like young teenagers or 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like, and really not much in between. And so we kind of went to they had that day a discover class. It was like, get to know who we are. And so we went down there. It was like 5 of us in this old basement. And Mikayla just looks at the discipleship pastor at the time and goes, hey, is anyone our age here?
Yeah.
And the guy just like kind of reluctantly answers. He goes, no, but someone has to be the first. And that kind of just struck a chord in our heart.
We got to learn more about the mission of Conduit.
Right.
And we were so drawn to Darren's heart for global mission and hearing about what they did with their finances. We were like, this is something that we can see.
60-70% goes to missions of the budget,
Straight
right?
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And that was shocking.
Yeah.
And just their transparency with the funds too. It was just really cool. And you could just tell there was something unique about Conduit. And so we kind of had to work through, like, do we want to be the first young 20-year-olds with a family coming to this church? And God said yes. So we stayed.
Yeah, and we stayed as just church attenders at first. And
Yeah, that's the way he always gets you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, start coming, just sit here.
And for my testimony, I got radically saved at 18, and I didn't really I had the call of ministry in my life, but I didn't know how to explain it.
Right.
and I didn't know how to pursue it. I mean, I grew up in IFB world. I knew pastors. I knew like the seminary route and you know the traditional version, but it just felt too late for me. And so it was just
Remind me to talk to you about the School of Ministry.
please.
Okay.
Yeah, please. And so it was one of those things where
ECNschoolofministry.com. You can start
Absolutely.
there. Okay.
Gotta put a plug in when you can.
literally 100%. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just like, man, it just feels like a long shot. But I wanted to get involved, right? I wanted to get involved in a meaningful way for the church. And so we started helping out in the youth ministry. And a guy named Jim Henderson, who was an elder at Conduit, was running it at the time. And he was busy. I mean, working full-time job.
Yeah.
And the youth group was growing. It was at like 40 or 50 kids at the time.
Right.
And so we hopped in as small group leaders. And then from there, Darren later approached us like 2 months later. It was like, would you teach Sunday school for us? Like, this would be a huge help to Jim. And I was like, yeah, I can teach Bible study. Just tell me what I'm teaching and I'm in. And then weeks turned into months turned into, hey, can you lead on Wednesday night when Jim's out? And I was like, yeah. And then literally like 6 months into that, we stepped down on staff so Jim could step out. And then super part-time, I think I got paid $200 a month at first.
But we loved it.
But
and
it was awesome.
That $200 helped us survive. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
great.
And I was just stoked that a church was paying me.
Right.
That we done a lot of like church plant stuff. We were in a church plant in college, and it was like, wait, a church was paying me money to lead a Bible study. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Not that it's about money for us, but it was just cool.
We
It was a
grew
cool
the
season.
youth group from like 30, 50 down to 3 is our claim to fame. So,
We hit rock
yeah.
bottom, and the 3 kids that showed up were our pastor's kid, so Ethan Tyler,
Oh, yeah.
our worship pastor's kid, and then my sister-in-law. So it was like, oh no, we're getting fired immediately. But honestly, something really sweet happened that night. We just sat in a circle and we're like, how do we build something that you guys want?
Yeah.
And so it became an ownership thing for them. We rebranded the entire youth group. We could help them make a mission statement and like really define, hey, who do we want to be and what do we want to be about
Right.
at this youth ministry?
That's a whole clarity thing, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And 8 years later, here we are. We're leaving a youth group of about 300 kids and on our church plant journey, which is crazy.
So have like you lost your mind or
I think
what?
so.
You're going from a successful ministry
Yes.
in a very successful church, and in some ways a cutting edge church, a pioneer in what and how Conduit does it.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Darren Tyler, as you know, and a big fan of that church. You're leaving established, not only established but well earned. You know, this is your baby.
Yep.
Yep.
And you're leaving that to go down the road and start another church. Exodus.
Yeah,
Exodus
Exodus
Church.
Church coming to
Exodus
Spring Hill.
So, but where exactly are you going to be located as you
So
start?
we'll be meeting in the AMC Theater in Spring Hill. So
Okay.
where Christ Chapel met.
Right.
What's his name? Jeremy Kincaid, Kennedy. But I forget his name. But yeah, they launched there. They were there for 7 years, and then it just kind of popped up out of nowhere. And we're like,
Right.
we were intending to meet at Battle Creek Middle School.
Right.
Just doors closed, and so we pivoted to the theater, which is great. We don't have to set up chairs.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. That alone's worth it. Yeah.
I know.
Right.
I know.
Right.
But yeah, I think the transition to church planting, I think for us was probably the hardest yes I've ever had on the table. And I think honestly, like for us, it was, we had come out of a pretty unhealthy season for me. Conduit exploded. We built a building in the end of 2021 and went from a church of 800 to 2,000. Our youth group went from 80 to
There's no parking.
80 to 150.
no parking.
No, I mean none.
Yeah. We went from 80 to 150 week to week. And so it was kind of one of those things where our systems weren't in place. We didn't have the right people in the right spots. And it really was a test and a scramble so I tell people like those 2 years after we finished that building, was really just, it felt like we were just trying to tread water.
Yeah, they're good problems to have.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But they're still problems.
Yeah,
You still
absolutely.
gotta
We
solve
learned a
them.
lot.
Yeah.
It was
learned
crash
so
course.
much.
Yeah.
and I wouldn't trade it for anything, but we then came out of that season just refreshed and on fire and had a fresh vision of what we wanted to accomplish with our youth group, and specifically in a student leadership team and developing student leaders and allowing them to really take ownership right from the grassroots of what we wanted to. Now this is kind of an expansive thing.
Yeah.
And
You've just hit on the diamond that everybody miss.
exactly.
The role of ministers isn't to do the ministry; it's to develop the leaders,
Absolutely.
to identify the leaders, and let the leaders then do and own the ministry.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I think
and
it
all
was
of that, and that's Paul sent Timothy to Ephesus to develop leaders.
yeah, literally.
Yeah,
That's our tagline of our youth ministry was be one, make one.
yeah. There you go.
Yep. Be a disciple, make a disciple. Yep.
Yeah.
And it was 2023 where I began to, for the first time, look around and be like, they don't need me. I mean, obviously, we were running point on a lot of it and a lot of the behind the scenes training for students and stuff, but it was like the first time we could go on vacation and I'm not stressed out of my mind.
Worried about what you're going to come back to.
Yeah. And then anyways, fast forward to 2024 is when kind of God began to put transition on our heart. And I believe this wholeheartedly that God will take you through the valley and then bring you to the mountaintop to show you where he's going.
Right.
Because, there's your perspective of how things are going and then there's God's will for your life.
The kingdom,
right?
the kingdom perspective.
And I was so focused where I was because my yes was here. And then it just through very faithful men in my life and really hard conversations with Conduit and the church. And I say hard because, again, we love Conduit. It was a healthy environment.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible pastor. I tell people I would follow Darren until the day I died, as if God willed. And so to transition into church planting through Conduit, we knew it was a goodbye. And so that was hard and an incredibly hard season for both of us.
Yeah. It's exciting, but we're having to hold that like grief and excitement in the same hand.
Yeah.
And like you said, people are like, what are you doing? Why are you leaving? You have a stable thing going on right now.
Especially with the amount of church plants that fail.
Yeah.
So it's that stability, but then also the call and will of God. And we are taking a risk, but we believe God is fully in it. And for us, it was just, let's just take one step.
Right.
And we take it one step at a time, and hope the Lord lights the path as we go.
Now, let me pick on you a minute. Just
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, you're a church hurt pastor's kid.
Yep.
Okay, and we've had lots of conversations on here about the uniqueness of being a pastor's kid.
Yep.
And some of the untold trauma that pastors' kids endure. And that was your story. Now, did you have this little quiet, here are things I'm never going to do. I'm never going to marry a pastor.
Absolutely.
I'm never going to.
Of course. Yeah.
She married a guy in real estate.
I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that.
Over my dead body will I ever marry a pastor.
That's right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm not going to raise my kids in this.
No. Yeah, absolutely not. I'm not
only do you marry a pastor, you marry a planter.
I marry a planter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have 4 kids and I'm doing it.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your journey.
Yeah.
Of the forgiveness and the release.
Yeah.
And all that has to happen so you can, I tell people all the time, the problem with holding grudges and all of that is you can't receive anything good or new from the Lord.
Yeah.
Because your hands are already full.
Oh, yeah. So true.
And you got to let go of that so the Lord can fill you with the good things.
Oh, it's so true.
That he was. So
talk
with us about how you go from I'm never to here we go.
Here we are. Yeah. Man, it's a long story.
Yeah.
I think it's a story of open-handedness, like you were saying, and a story of tenderization. The Lord really had to take me on a journey. And one thing I learned, I've been through a lot of counseling actually, but I went from saying I'll never do this just because of the hurts I experienced.
Right.
And not that being a pastor's kid is a terrible thing. I think I have such good memories, and there's so many things that I learned that I love that I'm going to take along with me on our journey. But it's hard. You're in the limelight all the time. You're a fishbowl life, and there's a lot of judgments. You see a lot of behind the scenes things. And so it's just, it's easy to carry a lot of hurt and baggage that later turns to resentment and bitterness. And that just breeds,
right.
and which is where it came from. Over my dead body, will I ever marry a pastor? Will I ever do these things? But the Lord had a call on my life very specifically, and I knew that I was interested in ministry. I have a heart for people, and so it was weird because it was like, well, I can't hold both things,
Right.
like you were saying.
It's
like
right,
I
yeah.
can't say I'm not going to do this, but still carry a heart of that. And so it's a lot of control that I had that I was holding on to. And through just the hurts of our story and the Lord really just tenderizing me. And one thing that we learned in counseling once was how you tenderize meat is you either beat the crap out of it or you let it sit in the marinade for a long time. And I think that's what the Lord did in my life for several years, was just sitting in a really hard season of a lot of sin and shame coming out and having to acknowledge it and overcome it. And allowing the Lord to just literally pry open my hands and say, okay, God, here's my life. And I'm going to be open to the things that you have for me, even if it doesn't look like what you want for me or what I want for myself.
Right.
And so, when I married Joel, I married him because he was going to be a millionaire by 30, and he did not.
Liar.
I know.
He did
Real
not
estate was the
want
avenue.
anything to do with being a pastor. And I was like, checks my boxes.
That's right.
Great. He loves the Lord, which I wanted,
Right.
right? I wanted someone that cared for people, which he did do.
Yeah,
but
we want this much of Jesus.
Yes, we just want this much.
We just
not
want-
this much.
that's right.
And we're just going to be churchgoers on Sunday, and like we'll serve occasionally, and that's going to be our life, and it's going to be great. And when Joel said we need to move to Tennessee, I knew what that was like, because home, we're going to be by my dad, and my dad is a pastor,
Right.
and my dad has a shepherd's heart, and he's going to be discipling Joel now, and I don't want that going in
That's
his
right.
ear.
He'll catch the
he's gonna
pastor bug.
he's going to rope us into all the things, and I don't want to
He
do that.
infected me. Yeah.
But I think following Joel's conviction of like, I heard from the Lord and I know that we need to move here, it was like, okay, Lord, do I trust you? Am I trusting that I need to honor my husband? Am I open to that? And I had to make that decision of either saying yes or no. And so I said, okay, let's go. So we came, and sure enough, I was right. He got roped into all the things.
I knew this was a trap.
Thanks to my dad and Darren Tyler, I had beef with them for a long time. But no, truly, when we started stepping into that season of youth ministry, I started realizing, like, no, this is exactly where God wants me.
Now, I tell people all the time, you need two things to start a church.
Yeah.
You need a Bible
Yep.
and you need a burden.
Yeah.
When did the burden hit you?
That's a fantastic way to say that. Honestly, I think it hit me pretty early in my youth ministry. I felt the call to being a lead pastor and starting a church, but I think for me, I'm a very reluctant follower of Christ when he calls. There's moments where I move quick and there's moments where I move really slow. But for me, it was this journey that the Lord put me on of spiritual development and discipleship on my own walk. See, growing up IFB, it is very truth heavy, scripture based, which is great. It's awesome. You learn a lot of doctrine. They have catechisms. I mean, it is drilled into your heart, but there's no Holy Spirit. Not no Holy Spirit. There's not a lot of Holy Spirit. And
I just read an article about, they call it excarnate Christian instead of incarnate. It's excarnate.
Yeah.
It's all about the doctrine on the outside.
Yep.
Nothing about the life on the inside.
100%. And so, and then when I walked into student ministry, kind of with this fresh fire and then through conversations with Darren about like, we want to hit discipleship strong, like the students need this. And I want to be a voice for the kids that feel like no one's in their corner. It was very quick that I learned that, man, it's just, there is a lack of people just getting in the trenches with these young people. And then from that, it's just my pastor's heart grew and the shepherd heart in me grew. And so like, I can be that person. Like I'm willing to show up in your life. And I think we have it often backwards in pastoral ministry, where we build our churches for people to come rather than build our ministries to go to them. And that is something that we really tried and aspired to be like. It's I don't attract people to the church. And hear that correctly, like absolutely we build a service that is God honoring and glorifying to him in a place of worship. But if our ministry heart stops on Sunday, we have a problem.
The commission is to make disciples, not to build a congregation.
Exactly. And so we're not gathering a people, we're sending a people.
Right.
And that's what I wanted in our youth ministry. And I think through that, I just realized like it would be such an honor to do this as a church, and to kind of call a play on a Sunday, right, as a quarterback, and then execute it throughout the week. Right. And hey, this is discipleship 101. We're going to get in the trenches with each other. We're going to, dive into the word together. And I think even in, the Barna research, and you can look all into it, the amount of people that read their Bible, right? The standard is like something like opening your Bible once every 2 weeks is the average Bible reader in our country.
Once a month, once every other month, and a frequent attender or whatever.
It's a starving Christian is what it is, and someone that's not being fed. And so for us, it was just that heart of, we want to create an environment where we are giving the avenues and the ways in which people can be plugged in. They can be involved in Bible studies. They can be, given the tools to study Scripture, as well as just becoming the cornerstone of, hey, this is a place where we are going to become like Jesus. And in discipleship, we throw around like this word of like, I'm actively discipling you. In reality, it's really an apprentice. Like that's what the biblical meaning is. It's not something I do, it's something I am.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And
in the time of Jesus, if you were studying with a rabbi, you moved into the home.
Exactly.
You lived with it.
No one's moving in with me. But,
but I mean, that was so you could literally mimic everything about the rabbi.
And that's kind of where the heart for us and the burden for us began. It was just like, I'm teaching this group of teenagers, and I don't want to point fingers at anyone. I don't think it's their parents' necessarily fault. I don't think it's necessarily the church's fault. It's just a lack of clarity of the mission that we're called to.
Back to that clarity word, right?
And so I'm like, you're 15 and you've grown up in the church, and you don't know what the gospel is. You can't even articulate it back to me.
Right. Can't find the books.
Yeah. I would say that's where my kind of burden came in of, I grew up in the church, right? And so many of these kids, especially in our area, we love to say that we are over churched and under gospeled. And so these kids
got a little veneer of Jesus painted on everything.
Literally. And so I had such a heart for the kids that have grown up in the church their whole life. You ask them, like, why are you a Christian? Like, share with me your testimony. And they say, oh, I've been a Christian my whole life. I'm like, okay, who is Jesus to you? He's Jesus. You ask them these questions, and I was realizing, wow, these kids, they're not biblically literate.
No, we did a thing at Kairos for a bunch of years. Kairos at our church.
Yep.
And after one of the nights, we were doing a story on Joseph in Genesis. And the guy walked up and says, "When does he meet Mary?"
Yep, I believe it.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I went back to our youth department and said, blow it up. Whatever you think you're doing, we're not doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, when kids are confusing like Jonah and Noah, there's a problem.
Something's not good here. And we laugh at that illiteracy, but that illiteracy sadly shows itself in the poor life choices and the lack of self-knowledge and self-awareness that leads to all the other kind of problems. So it is and so why are you moving south from
Conduit?
From Conduit, you're moving due south.
Great question.
That is a fantastic question. So I mean,
because with the unchurched population, you could have moved in any direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And been fine, but you chose south, or were led south.
Yes.
Wow. How so?
Tennessee's booming, as you know, and a lot of people are moving south.
Right.
And so we have a lot of young families that are moving.
In fact, with the real estate crisis,
It's driving everyone.
It's Lawrenceburg.
Yep.
You're literally going to buy a home in Lawrenceburg if you want to live and work in Nashville.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Colioca. Yeah. Like all the way out there.
We're not going to Colioca. we'll the next church.
We'll plant a church in Colioca. Right?
No, I think we did the whole church strategy. What makes sense for Conduit?
Right.
The reality is Conduit. We started with we're doing this for numbers, so we need to make this kind of make sense in the database of okay, where are our people coming from on the map? And actually, there's a term that people use called a cannibal church, right? That if you're too close to the mother church, then you're going to be fighting over people. And we're like, okay, that's weird. So we want to be like 20 minutes away, but where? But we really quickly after that conversation, we're like, we've never done anything as a church because of numbers.
Right.
Like we've never made a move because of too much this or too little that.
Yeah, but you do have to relieve
Conduit.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Of some of the pressure.
A couple of Sundays ago,
there's
we turned
nothing
away.
wrong with Conduit. $100 million couldn't fix.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where you are.
Yeah.
And Darren's not going to do the $100 million. We're going to go free slaves in Pakistan.
That's right. Yeah. So
absolutely. Like it was just that being the primary focus. We just shifted our heart and we just realized, man, one, for me as the pastor, I want to be with the people. I live in Springhill. It's where we live. It's where we can afford. And I don't want it to be a place where, if we were to plant for, say, in Brentwood, that we're priced out and not because the church isn't taking care of us. It's just prices are really expensive.
They're not. Those prices aren't for people who live in Tennessee. They're people coming in from California. New York, and all that. Yeah, that's where the prices are.
And I'd rather do ministry and life with people.
Yeah, what we found out at Brentwood is when we started our campuses is we wanted to break off. And say, hey, go here and start the church here. And then, so it sounds like a lot of.
And then come to find out what we did on a Sunday at Conduit, Pastor Mo and I, we sat outside and just watched how many people turned right out of Conduit versus left, because left is towards Franklin, right is towards Springhill. And there's quite a bit. And so as far as just church planning strategics go, we live there. It made sense for the people that go to Conduit.
And the interesting thing is as we tell people all the time, there's a reason Baskin-Robbins has 31 flavors of ice cream.
Yep.
Not everybody likes Rocky Road.
Yeah.
So true.
But what Baskin-Robbins has decided is you're going to leave here with ice cream. We don't care what flavor it is, but you're going to leave it.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to get churches to understand is, listen, we want to make the decision that when people come, they're going to leave with Jesus.
Yeah, come on.
Now, what flavor that is, we can work on. So even just because you're different than Darren, and you have different life experience and therefore different sensitivities. Your church is you could be right next door to each other, and still reach a very different congregation.
Absolutely, yes. And a big passion for us is 49% of Springhill don't go to church.
No. 49% tell us they don't go to church.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, you press that number,
and
it's up. It's over 60 to 80%.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Don't go to church,
and it's taken there's like 400 something churches in Springhill. I mean, we don't actually know the full number,
but it's one of those things. In Nashville, this is a Nashville kind of thing. Everybody gets a synthesizer starts a church. It beats everything up I've ever seen in my life. But every garage in a synthesizer's got a church in it.
Yep.
So but whether or not they've got the structure and the ability and the wherewithal to be a lasting congregation to make a difference, and that.
Yeah, I think
that's
just as a pastor planting, I think a struggle I had was like, why another church in Tennessee though? Right. You know what I mean? It was like because I had
one on every corner.
I had friends
there are a lot of church buildings.
Yes.
On every corner.
That's
there
what we
aren't
realized.
A lot of churches on every corner.
I think that's something that probably a lot of church planters probably have to go through though.
Right.
Like why here? Why why do they not just go to this church?
Why not parachute plant in some random place, right?
Yeah.
And it was a struggle, and I had a lot of really good conversations with men that I trust, and it's like, you're right, like I need to think through this and pray about this, but then I quickly realized even the stats we were just talking about, I don't care if there's 14 churches on every corner.
No,
we haven't met the goal.
And the deal is you're going to put a church together that is going to attract a certain clientele of people. That when one of the great freedom moments for me was when I finally got to where I was comfortable going, what are you looking for? Oh, we're looking for this kind of church. Okay, great. That's not us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And you're going to be miserable every Sunday you're here, and we're going to get miserable with you. But I know who does what you want to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know them. I'll call them. I'll tell them you're on their way.
Yep.
You're going to love this church.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they do this style of worship better than anybody in town. They do this style of mission or ministry better than anybody in town. Let me call that pastor and tell him you're on their way.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And
can't be all things for all people.
No, and you don't need to be.
That's what I love about the beauty of the church.
Yeah,
is that we're one body.
Yeah,
together.
there is something about all of us together.
Yep.
That reveals the glory of God in one way that one person can't.
So good.
So give me the dirty details. You're starting when?
We launched September 14th. That's our soft launch, which is kind of just a runway for to kind of work all the kinks out.
Right.
We've had 2 preview services.
Yeah, that's where you find the oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no, the internet isn't working.
We didn't remember to bring an extension cord.
Yeah.
Those.
We need a ramp for the kids' room.
Yeah, we rolled up. We have these big crates for kids ministry, and it steps down to where we're supposed to set up.
Yeah.
Because it's in a movie theater, right? And we just didn't think about it. And these are heavy crates.
Yeah.
And like our volunteers are breaking their backs trying to get them down the stairs. There's small things like that. And there's about 8,000 of them, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I tell people we could have had a service. It would have probably been a C out of the grading scale, but
you wisdom means I screwed up before you did.
Yep.
So next time when you go, hey, you're gonna need a ramp over here. God, he's most smart. He just knows. He just knows everything.
He's thought of it all. He's thought of it all.
All right, September 14th.
September
soft
14th.
launch.
Yep.
What time?
We will be launching at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and your public launch, your big launch is
Super Bowl Sunday, February 8th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna run it for several. You're gonna run soft for several months.
Yep. Yep. We're gonna run small. Well, I mean, we'll do a Christmas service.
Right.
We're kind of judging what that's gonna look like.
Okay.
There's just a lot of unknowns.
Got a website?
We do.
ExodusChurch.co.
Yep.
ExodusChurch.co.
.co.
There you go.
Yeah,
All right.
forget the M.
All right.
There's too many M's out there.
Do somebody.
We got to be different in some type of way.
This is Joel. This is Mikayla Kelly, and they are the new planters of Exodus Church in Springhill. So we will look forward to another visit from you guys and catch us up on this.
Thank you.
Let's do it.
I'm Mike Glenn. This is the Engaged Church Network podcast. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for tuning in to the Engaged Church Network podcast. We exist to train healthy and skilled leaders for congregations throughout Middle Tennessee. If today's episode helped you, share it with a fellow leader. And don't forget to visit engagedchurchnetwork.com for more ways to grow.